Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode. Live from the Lair! I know you guys love that. We're having ourselves another goddamn snowstorm here in beautiful Detroit metro area. Been sitting on my ass all day waiting for a break in the weather to go do some shit. Didn't happen, so now I'm just going to talk some shit instead of going out and doing some shit. So here we go. Okay, now, as a first sergeant out there in Iraq, it was hot as shit. You know, inside those Humvees, it's like 130, 140 degrees. You're wearing full battle rattle, you know, the protective vest, the plates, the helmet, the sunglasses. I mean, the whole deal. You know, and you have to wear that everywhere you go. You wear it to the shitter. Everywhere you go, I mean, you have to have it on you. And with that kind of heat, especially with the environment we're in, you know, a lot of people were freaking out. Tension was running really, really high. You know, we're getting mortared, you know, I mean, the convoys are getting burned, you know, it's, people are getting kidnapped, executed, there's like sniper fire here and there. I should correct myself and say it wasn't actually sniper fire because they actually would have hit somebody. You know, we figure a sniper can actually hit people. They just fired their AK-47s over the walls and stuff, maybe hoping they would get lucky. But it caused a lot of fucking problems. And when I became the first sergeant, you know, I noticed that, you know, we suffered from a phenomenon called the Berserker moment. All right, now, the lapdog who I replaced, the incompetent bastard that he was, didn't handle this well at all. He was a fucking cock. He just was out of his league, you know, and the men knew it. And if he remained the first sergeant, there would have been a hell of a lot of Article 15s. There would have been really shitty morale. Probably some people would have got killed, and it just would have been ugly. But the Berserker moment, you know, I would see guys just snap and just flip out. And, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, yep, it's having a Berserker moment. Let's see if we can get his brain pan to clear out here. All right. And for instance, I was going on this convoy to, it was MGTOW. I'm not sure what the name of it was anymore. They all kind of blend together. But it was a 6-hour drive. We drove for 3 hours, and we stopped at another fob to refuel. And then while we're refueling, you know, I'm like 3 vehicles back from the first vehicle. And we're inside the wire. I've just, you know, filled up, and we're waiting for the last vehicle to hit the, you know, get through the fuel point. And then we're going to take head count and take off again. And the vehicle in front of me, all of a sudden the door flies open. This guy steps out, throws off his helmet, throws off his vest, drops his weapon, and just says, "Fuck this!" and like just runs off. So I'm like, huh? So I'm like, yo, we're leaving like in probably 5-10 minutes. You might want to go collect your dude. So his team leader's like, they go taking off after him. And 3 or 4 minutes later, he comes walking back, you know, he puts his vest on, puts his helmet on, picks up his weapon, and gets in the vehicle. And I look over at the sergeant, I'm like, hey, so, Berserker moment? We had a Berserker moment. He's like, roger that, first sergeant. I'm like, all right, let's go. That was a really good one. Another one, now, Chupacabra. I don't know what was going on with his platoon, but his platoon sergeant had authorized his guys to stand on checkpoint watch, which was absolute fucking bullshit, because those are Lair soldiers. They're not, you don't use them for that kind of shit, and if you do that, you're basically, you know, wasting your resources. But apparently, the platoon sergeant had told him that I knew about it and I authorized it. And he was fucking lividly fucking pissed. So I'm sitting there at the talk, and this is after we moved to Lair. It was after July, because I went, it was like the end of July. And he comes in, and I'm sitting there, and he just stiff arms my desk. Like, everything onto the floor. And like, he's standing there in front of the desk. And I'm like, and I'm getting spun up. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, hey, Soren, this is the way it's going to go down. You're going to leave my office right now. You're going to go walk around the block. You're going to have some cold water. And you're going to come back here in about 20 minutes. And we're going to talk about all this craziness that just went on here, because this is unacceptable. He's Puerto Rican. If you check out my one comedy video, the ethnic anger scale, they're way up there, and when they flip out and they get pissed off. So 20 minutes later, he comes in and he tells me that he's been pulling checkpoint duty. He's standing out in fucking near this traffic circle. All kinds of crazy shit going on. They got fired at a couple times. And, he was wondering why I authorized it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I even know this is fucking happening. I pick up the phone. I call his platoon sergeant. I call the fucking commander. I find out, what the fuck's going on, and I put a stop to that shit right on the fucking spot. That is fucking bullshit. Oh, man. There was a couple other, like I had one of the platoon sergeants who is one of the first, I think it was first platoon. He had just became a platoon sergeant. He was green. And Worthless basically fired the other platoon's the first platoon sergeant because he didn't like him, and then put this other one in his place because that was kind of his MO, was to run the unit like a knitting circle because that's effective in a war zone. So anyway, the new platoon sergeant was a little on edge, was riding his guys hard, the stress was going, and he was like just snapping at his guys, and if you want to yell at another NCO, pull him aside and then dig a hole in his ass, okay? But you don't do it in front of his men because you're dressing him down, and it's bad etiquette, and that should not be done unless it's absolutely fucking egregious. So he's dressing down this one E5, he's a good guy, former Marine. And he just has a berserker moment and just basically fucking gives him the knife edge to his face and tells him to, fuck off, and then, get the fuck away from me, you piece of shit. And then the platoon sergeant got mad, and then the commander found out about it, and then the platoon sergeant wanted to give him an Article 15, and of course, Worthless was all about Article 15s, and I heard the story, and I'm just like, it's berserker moment. All right, listen. I'm not taking a stripe off an NCO, taking 3 months' pay, ruining his career because we're in a pressure cooker and in a fucking berserker moment. So I talk everyone down, and I'm like, okay, we're going to give him a negative counseling, and if he does it again, then we'll figure out what we're going to do, but we're not going to jump off the bit and fucking, jump in this dude's ass. It's not going to happen. So we brought him in, we wrote him a negative counseling statement. I gave it to him, kept a copy in his file, and, everything was fine. And in fact, later on down the deployment, the old first platoon sergeant, who was fired by Worthless, was basically put back in charge of first platoon because the other one just was having some head timing disconnect issues. So, there you go. I mean, unbelievable. So when that happened, he had a new platoon sergeant. So I went and found that counseling statement that we had in file for him, and I just gave it to him and said, "Hey, you got a new fucking platoon sergeant. This shit's fucking invalid." Okay, because that's the way it works. You get a new platoon sergeant. He has to cancel you in, and then all the counseling you get after that are actionable. If you have other counselings from prior leadership, and you really, if they really want to challenge anything you want to do to them, they can overturn it. It's part of administrative violence. Back then I was only a brown belt in administrative violence, but I knew that much. So that's the berserker moments. I probably had another 4 or 5 of them. If I get any more of the stories, I'll let you know.
Want to retire someplace on the planet where the women look like this? I thought you did, but if you want to know how, first you need to go to MGTOWbooks.com and purchase MGTOW's Guide to Retiring on 200K in Southeast Asia. Don't forget to use the promo code POPP, that's P-O-P-P, for 10% off. A link is in the description.
This is a weird one. We had left Abu Ghraib prison, and I think we're going to Anaconda. And that's like a 3-hour drive. And, you know, we get the intel briefs in the morning and blah, blah, blah. And basically what was going on back then is people would drive these black BMWs and roll right up on convoys and like just open fire point blank into the sides of the vehicles and kill people. And, you know, I'm not all about that. So, you know, we're going, and we literally just left the prison. We go down to the spaghetti loop and we hook to the left. And we're going, you know, up the spaghetti loop, and then I see a BMW, you know, zigzagging, you know, trying to catch up to us, you know, and the guys that were, you know, yelling at him, and they pointed the turret at him, and he just kept fucking coming. Now, I don't know why they didn't give him some warning shots into the hood of his vehicle, but like literally, I'm in the back seat because I always like to, you know, control the vehicle right behind the driver. I didn't even worry about the A driver slot because the Humvee is so wide and there's so much fucking shit in there that you can't even reach the wheel. I mean, it's absolutely, you're powerless. So if I sit behind the driver, I can see what the driver sees. If I have to, which I did, is come over the back seat and grab the wheel to control the vehicle, which I've done in the past for, you know, hairy situations. Not in this particular case, but I remember I saw the vehicle and I'm like, hey, go faster, go faster. Well, up armor Humvees only go so fast. And we're still going up the spaghetti loop. And I'm like, run him off the road. He's like, roger that. And boom, they fucking went right off the spaghetti loop. And I remember looking over at them as like, they're airborne now because the protective sides of the spaghetti loop had been knocked off by the Bradleys. So he's like airborne, and he's going down probably somewhere between 2 and 4 story drop. And I'm just looking at him and like, ah. And then they were gone. Don't know what happened to him, don't care. But, you know, you had to make a command decision. And if you make the right one, you live. You make the wrong one, you die. And if you don't die, you live the rest of your life in fucking bone-staggering regret, which I didn't have to do. Okay, now another technique I used to do with my guys, all of them, it didn't really matter. You know, these are men. They're under a lot of pressure, okay? A lot of crazy shit going on. And if you ask them, you know, hey, what's going on? They're not really going to say anything. So what I used to do is walk up on them, grab them behind the neck, pull them in close, ear to ear. And I would whisper in their ear. I'd be like, hey, so what's going on? A lot of times, I'd have NCOs like tell me right into my ear, you know, what kind of crazy shit was going on. And I'd be like, okay, roger that. Let them go, and I would handle business. All right, and you know, I had soldiers get Dear John, divorce papers sent in the mail, a couple fist fights here and there. You know, practical joke wars were getting out of hand with some guys. You know, some guys were just, as we went along on the deployment, they just got meaner and fucking meaner and meaner, and you had to deal with shit. And, you know, some guys got insulted and feelings got hurt or whatever, you know, and there was a few times where, you know, people would tell me some they were fucking mad as fuck at their team leader or their squad leader or whatever, and guess what? On Friday or Saturday night when they had boxing night, guess who put the gloves on? So they could work it out. Because you don't want to have that kind of animosity growing, you know, week by week, month by month, until, you know, it becomes, you know, insurmountable. If you know, have them slug it out, and whoever wins, then it's over with. And you just move on with your fucking lives. It's just that easy. And thank God I brought those boxing gloves because, you know, they really helped out a lot, you know. I took care of a lot of bad attitudes. Let a guys blow off some much valued steam that, you know, so they didn't fucking crack under pressure. But man, okay. And another thing I used to like to do If I knew people were rolling out the wire, I would do everything in my power to look them all in the eye. Because if you're not going to lead from the front, or by example, which if I'm not going on the mission, I can't do, and you're going to send somebody to their possible death, you should at least have enough guts to look them in the fucking eye. That's just basic leadership 101 common courtesy. And I wrote about this in my book, The Warrior's Way and the Soldier's Soul. It's on Amazon. You can pick yourself up a copy. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it went. Wow. Let's bring back some fucking memories. One more before we call this. This is, she was an E4. She was in the 202. She was an interpreter. She was American. She learned how to speak Persian, Farsi, and Arabic. And then she spoke 2 other dialects. But, you know, she was smart as hell. Intel analyst, you know. Last name Gtz. And she used to hang out with one of my soldiers. Not going to say his name. And, you know, whatever, they're hanging out. And I really didn't bust anyone's chops too badly for that kind of shit. I only got involved if I thought it was going to go down a dark road or lead to somewhere bad. Okay, because it's not my job, as a first sergeant, to keep everyone behind, you know, the gate and you can't do anything, because then people just explode. But, you know, I'm running into a situation is I can't have a female coming to an infantry company area every day to hang out or whatever, because, you know, people talk, there's all kinds of shit. And it's not like I can't handle that kind of stuff, but I'm not doing that for free. So I basically say, hey, listen here. You can hang out here, whatever, but every morning, when you show up here, whatever day's off or whatever you got going on, I want a fresh intel dump for me and my men. Because we're working for an intel battalion and no one tells me shit. Okay? They give me the watered down shit or the stuff they want to tell me. I gotta know everything. And she agreed. She was fine. Since I was no longer the NCOIC of the prison, you know, even though I probably could have sat in on a lot of the intel briefings in the morning, you know, people would frown upon that because I technically can't be doing 3 people's fucking jobs, which I did for a while, but that's another story. So, you know, basically she saved probably a couple guys' lives in my unit by giving us fresh intel, current stuff, you know, right off the fucking, you know, right out of the spigot. Now, unfortunately, after I had been medevaced from Iraq, I got medevaced in the beginning of November 2004. About 3 weeks later, she got killed on a fucking bullshit fucking convoy to victory. It was for like Gatorade, mail, potato chips, and toilet paper. It was completely useless. It was a useless fucking convoy. You know, they were fucking right there at the end. I mean, they only had to ride out another 4 or 5 weeks, and then she would have been fine. But, you know, hey, she got killed, and they couldn't revive her, and she basically, I think she took the brunt force of an IED. You know, she was in I think a LMTV. And a couple of her friends who are probably royally fucked in the head now because they saw the whole thing happen. And yeah, I don't care what you say about women. Women don't handle that shit better than, any better than men. Okay, and they took it hard from what I was told. I wasn't there. But yeah, her name was Carrie Gtz. You can Google her name. They dedicated a building to her down at D-Lab, which is where you go to learn foreign languages and stuff. And that's how it went. And that really sucked. And I kind of upset at myself. If I had not got medevaced and I had been there, I probably could have ran some interference for her, because my guys loved her. She was like a baby sister to everyone. And they took that really hard, man. I took it hard, and I was in Germany at the time, in Langstuhl. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll talk to you later.